Hey, so I have just watched the Miss USA 2019 preliminary competition and like what the hell happened? I feel like the contestants just weren't there. Okay, so in this video, if I compose myself, I'm talking about my final 15 picks and who I think is going to win, who's going to be the top 5, etc. and just what I thought of the whole competition in general. And first I want to say Sarah Rose Summers, the current Miss USA, looked incredible. She was wearing this gold dress, sparkly dress. She was co-hosting the event and she looked amazing. Like I was in it was jaw-dropping. I like the selection committee. Demi-Lee Peters is one of the judges, so that's nice. I think it's a really good selection of judges. And the stage is really nice. I mean, of course, we saw the stage already with Miss Teen USA, so it was kind of spoiled. But I like the stage. It's so much better than last year's stage. I was not a fan of last year's Miss USA stage. It was too underwhelming. Like, it's a beautiful arena and I love the fact that there were like pictures all over around and videos all over around, but I think for a competition of the caliber of Miss USA, it just wasn't at that level. That's just my opinion. They've had better productions than other years, so I really like the stage and I'm excited to see what it's going to be like on the final night and how they're going to arrange it and how the parades are going to look. I think it will be quite beautiful, and I love that there's a long runway for them to walk on. Although it kind of looks strange them coming from the side, so they don't really enjoy the whole runway, but that's just a small thing. We'll see how it is, you know, for the final competition, but it was okay. Okay, so we start with the swimsuit competition and no matching swimsuits, and I like it when they wear matching swimsuits, and this is the second year in a row where it's just everyone wears whatever, you know, they are assigned. I don't think they choose the costumes themselves. I think they're assigned the costumes. That's just the feeling I get, because some of them were unflattering. There was the blue bikini that was worn by Nevada, Georgia, and South Carolina, and I remember it because on Georgia it looked terrible. On Nevada it didn't look so bad because she kind of pulled the bikini bottom a bit low, so it looked a bit flattering. And then on South Carolina, on Mackenzie, it was so high up that it made it look like a nappy, especially from behind. Like I'm just, you know, that was just my observation. It looked terrible. So I don't like the mixed match costumes because some are more flattering than others, and the contestants aren't like judged on the same swimsuit because some costumes are just generally more flattering. And so if you happen to get a flattering costume, you're just luckier than someone else who just got a terrible costume. Okay, so the swimsuit round, the first contestants that came out, like it was Alabama, Alaska, I didn't enjoy their performances. It was just very average. And then Arizona came out and she was good. She had great stage presence. She looked like she wanted to be there, because that was my complaint for the whole competition, is that a lot of the contestants looked very shy, looked very like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be here, scared. They seemed overwhelmed and they didn't perform. And I was expecting fireworks. I expected this year's contestants to really just be out of this world, because on paper there's so many great contestants and there's so many beautiful contestants, and I just thought it was going to be high level. I think the level last year was much higher than the level this year. Like this year, big disappointments. I was really disappointed by Delaware. Like, I didn't expect her to perform amazingly well, but I didn't expect it to be that bad. Like, swimsuit was terrible. I think she was my lowest scoring, because I scored each and every one of them. I think she was the lowest scoring of them all in both evening gown and swimwear. She was really underwhelming. Georgia, a lot of you guys like Georgia, and I've never been a fan of her and I've been criticized. I don't like the way she looks. She looks too plasticky for me, and seeing her on stage, it didn't change my mind. And she also didn't seem like she believed in herself. She didn't seem like she really wants to be Miss USA. It was very average. Georgia has never won Miss USA. I was really surprised to hear that. You know, such a big state. If they keep sending delegates like Georgia, that's why they don't win, because she is not a winner. She doesn't have the full package, and she didn't believe in herself. Like, I was waiting for her to convince me, you know, that she's the one, and she didn't, and she just looked tentative, and it just wasn't a good performance. Kansas really stood out for me. She was really great. I wasn't expecting that from her. She was amazing. I loved the long straight hair. I loved her styling. And I'll just talk about who else impressed me. Nevada, the home state. She was great. Tiana, she was really performing really well. Didn't really like her blue swimsuit, but she looked great in it. She looked like she wanted to be there. She had purpose. She gave different faces, different poses. She looked amazing. I was very impressed with her performance. New Jersey, I expected more in swimwear. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I was even more underwhelmed in evening gown, so that wasn't great. Ohio did really well. I like Ohio a lot. Like, she really is someone who's different. She is the one who doesn't retouch or doesn't edit her photos. She just has you know, her true face, her true body. She doesn't Photoshop her photos on Instagram or anything. Even her official photo is non-Photoshop. So that's really refreshing. I love that she has that strong belief and she sticks with it. And then on the runway, she was really good. It didn't wow me, but it was solid. And then who else really impressed me? Utah. She was not on my radar. I was not a big fan of Utah. She was never on. I've made 2 previous lists. I'll put the links in the description box, and she's not on my list. I've seen her, but wasn't really impressed. For me, she was just a bit too, she looked like a teen, and you know, I just wasn't a big fan. But she impressed me on the runway. She looked like she wanted to be there. She performed. She had energy. She had life. Like, she was great for both swimsuit and evening gown. She was one of my top performers. One of the people who stood out the most to me. Let's talk about Texas. Wonderful. A bit underwhelmed in swimwear. She did really good. I was expecting a little bit more, but she was great. I love her hair. Then in evening gown, my favorite evening gown performance, I think, was from her. Her and Kansas. Let me see who got higher. Okay, I scored Texas higher. In a very difficult dress. Like, that color is not easy. That hot pink, it can look juvenile. You can look like a teenager, and she already looked really young, so it can come across that way. But no, it didn't. It came across as young, but still vibrant and still a woman. Just a really confident woman. She walked amazingly well, and that dress could have been overwhelming. It could have been something that wore her instead of the other way around, but she showed herself off. I loved the way she styled her hair. I wouldn't have changed anything about her evening gown performance. It was really, I mean, maybe a little bit more energy, but other than that, it was super close to being perfect. Kansas as well. I gave her 9.3, Kansas, and Texas got 9.5. So they were amazing dresses. Oh, it was a red dress. Sorry, it wasn't pink. It was red. I don't know why in my mind I think it was pink. It was this like bright red dress. It was incredible. Utah, as I said, did really well. West Virginia, I was disappointed. She did well, but I was disappointed. And let's see. West Virginia, like, she did better for me in swimsuit and in evening gown, but I wanted more. So hopefully if she makes it to the next round, at the final, just give a little bit more energy. New Jersey, I think I spoke about her. Okay, New Mexico, she did really well. I loved her swimwear round. She had life. She looked like she wanted to be there. It was great. Same thing with evening gown. She was excellent. One of my top performers, and I just loved her. I had high expectations, and she didn't let me down. So that was great. New York, I wanted a little bit more. She's so pretty. She's so beautiful, and I loved her hair up. She looks gorgeous. Even more gorgeous than in her photos. But I wanted a bit more energy from her. I feel it was a bit too muted, but I really like her, so I don't know. But I think she might have let herself down by just not giving a little bit more energy. Pennsylvania, I was so disappointed because I love Pennsylvania when she speaks. I love her when I see her in her videos and the videos they're posting on Facebook. She really is spectacular. I love how she styles herself. But I wasn't getting enough energy, and she wasn't looking at the cameras. If you guys rewatch the show, she wasn't looking at the camera, so the camera would come in on her and then zoom in on the face, and she'd be looking at the side or she'd be looking down, and I assume she must have been looking at the judges and then looking at the audience. But it was so weird to me, just absolutely no eye contact with the camera, and it was just so weird, especially when the camera zoomed in. It was like, okay, why is she looking at the side, like she's not looking at the camera at all. And I don't know what direction that the choreographers would have given them. Maybe she was doing the right thing, but I don't think so, because I don't think that the purpose of the camera zoom would be for her to be looking completely away from the camera. I think that would be the moment where you make a connection with the camera. I don't know, that's just what I assume, because that's what a lot of the contestants were doing, and she didn't do that. I was disappointed, and I think she's probably going to be marked down by the judges for that, and it might cost her a position in the top 15. I'm not sure if they're doing a top 15. That hasn't been confirmed for me. Louisiana did really well, Victoria Paul. Kentucky did well. Yeah, so now here is my top 15, and this is my top 15 and then my top 5 and then who I think will win, and some people surprised me, but they did really well. And number 15 is District of Columbia, Cordelia Cranshaw. She's been on my list all this time. I was expecting a little bit more, but she did well. She had energy, she smiled, she gave different faces, she really performed well. 14 is West Virginia, and number 13 is Louisiana. 12 is New York, and I'm not sure about her, but I really hope, like, she's the one I'm hoping for, that she makes it into the top 50 because she's so pretty. 11 is Maryland. 10 is New Jersey, and I'm surprised she's not high on my list because I had high expectations of her. I didn't like her evening gown dress. I felt like so many of them were wearing like the white or the embezzled dresses with a train. I saw like 10 or 12 of those dresses, I think. Maybe I'm exaggerating, I don't know. There was just too many of the similar ones, and yeah, she didn't stand out in the evening gown competition for me, but I really like her, so she's a number 10. Number 9 is North Carolina. 8 is Arizona. 7 is Ohio. Love Ohio. And now, okay, I'm not going to do top 5, I'm going to do top 6 because it's really difficult for me. And number 6 is Massachusetts. 5 is Kansas. And 4 is Nevada, and those I'm not sure. I really hope Massachusetts makes... Actually, I'm going to change it on the spot. This is... Number 6 is Kansas. Number 5 is Massachusetts. So this is my top 5. My top 5 is Massachusetts, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, and Texas. Those were the highest performers for me. Amazing. I didn't expect Nevada to be my top 5 because I'm not convinced about her interview. Will her interview be good? Is she someone with a lot of depth, with a lot of backstory? I just don't see it, and I think that the judges want someone a little bit deep. But in terms of on-stage performance, she killed it, so I'm putting her in my top 5 because of that. And also they're in Nevada, so I think it also helps a little bit. Yeah, so who do I think is gonna win? For me, I would be shocked if it's neither New Mexico or Texas. I'll be shocked. And if it's neither of them, then maybe, I don't know, someone else in the top 5. But those two are making the top 5. Like, those two are making the top 5 for sure. They had high expectations going in, like people expected highly of them, and they didn't disappoint. Oh, at least they didn't disappoint me. So they're in the top 5. Right now, my winner is Texas. Texas is my winner, and I think New Mexico would be my runner-up, but it's definitely between them. So Texas, Utah, New Mexico, Nevada, and Massachusetts. Kansas can maybe make the top 5 as well. She did really well. She had this beautiful dress. I think that was my favorite dress of the evening, was Kansas' dress. It was gorgeous. Gorgeous. So yeah, is there any other points I wanted to make? Yeah. California. I loved California going into the competition, right? Loved her, love her look. I love her story. This, you know, the Miss California competition was her first pageant, so she is so inexperienced, but she made it, and she won a very difficult state. She's gorgeous. She works for Google. She's intelligent. She has that all. Her interviews are fantastic. But her performance, to me, I was so disappointed. I was like, California, come on. I was so underwhelmed by swimwear. Her hair was great, but her makeup seemed a lot. Her eyebrow, I'm sure she wears false lashes. For me, they look heavy. So I don't really see her eyes. They don't really look open and wide. Lipstick is too much. I loved her in evening gown when she tied her hair up and she had that high pony. It was coming down. It was gorgeous. But so like she should stick with that hairstyle. I think it looks great. It looks better than the hair down like that. It makes her look younger. But I didn't like her makeup and I didn't like her confidence, and it showed like that she's really not a pageant girl. So I don't know if that's gonna count against her. Will she make it? Will she place because of the strength of her interviews? Because I'm sure her interviews are fantastic. Like her interview, I'm sure, is wonderful because she's just so accomplished. She's so deep. She has so much to offer. So her interview is great. Is she going to make it on the strength of her interview? Because her performance was very lackluster. I mean, and I was rooting for her and I wanted to give her like a high mark, but she was falling short, especially in swimwear. It was terrible to me. Another one who could make it, oh no, I did put on my list, Arizona, so never mind. Okay, Arizona is on my list. So yeah, that's my top 15 and I can't wait till May the 2nd. Which is going to be, I think, Friday morning here in the Netherlands. So I'll be watching it online and then I'll do a review video. Let me know what you guys think of the preliminary competition. What are your feelings and who are your top 5 contestants?